In the dead of winter, if images like this bring you joy, then this high school senior from Broadhead is your type of teen.
I honestly have endless goals for my business.
Clayton Elliott has been mowing lawns from a very early age.
$10 at 10 years old was amazing.
Which started as helping a disabled neighbor next door.
Seeing the look on her face when I got done and how happy she was that I helped her out, it meant everything to me.
Soon expanded down the street.
It's hard for people to say no to an 11-year-old kid trying to make money.
3 clients were soon.
When I had my license, I maybe had 10 residential clients.
CE Property Services was born.
Today, I'm at right around 25 residential clients, and I want to say 5 or 6 commercial clients as well.
The old push mower his dad helped him restore as a kid is old news. Today, Clayton has a fleet of equipment, including a zero-turn mower and trailer, all purchased on his own. It's not a surprise to his parents, who recall tricking Clayton to pick up pine cones on their yard as a kid for pennies, only to have him return with buckets full.
I think it started when he wanted something for a video game that we wouldn't pay for, and he figured out a way to get it himself.
Today, he's got the family working for him.
I forget what he called you, the mom manager? What is he?
No, I'm his business momager.
Mom handles scheduling, Dad teaching him how to fix his equipment along the way.
I grew up in an age without YouTube, so stole your dad's tools and figured it out. So I tried to pass that on to him, but he's more passing on YouTube to me.
All while handling a busy schedule as a teen that includes baseball and other part-time jobs over the years. In the future, he wants to pass on what he's learned.
Honestly, a dream of mine is I'd like to mentor another young entrepreneur who started out kind of like myself.
This kind of business growth landing him his greenest project yet. Junior Achievement, Young Entrepreneur, finalist. Ben Handelman, Fox 6 News.
Well, hello, judges. My name is Clayton Elliott. I am 18 years old. I am a senior at Broadhead High School, and I am the owner and operator of CE Property Services. My business offers weekly lawn care, landscaping projects, blowing, trimming, leaf removal, and I even offer pressure washing and surface cleaning. In the summer of 2024, I did $8,000 in revenue, and after my expenses, I profited right around 50%. In 2023, however, we did have a drought for right around 3.5 months, which caused me to only do right around $4,000 in revenue. With that being said, my expenses were a little bit less, so I profited closer to 70%. In 2025, I do have a goal to do right around $15,000 in revenue. While starting and managing my business, I was a full-time middle and high school student, a 3-sport athlete, and I also worked a part-time job ever since my 8th grade year. I started my business by mowing my disabled elderly neighbor's lawn every week for $10. Today, I now service over 25 residential clients and right around 5 commercial clients. I started servicing my first commercial client back in 2023, and I do definitely plan on gaining more commercial clients in the future. Currently, I'm getting ready for the 2025 mowing season. I am checking my equipment, seeing what's going to need a little bit more maintenance and what's going to need some more love and care. I'm reaching out to some of my clients, confirming any plans that they have to their current plan, and seeing if they have any questions for me. And I'm trying to learn a little bit more about advertising and marketing. Currently, I would say I'm an old school marketer. What I mean by this is my main forms of advertisement are my yard signs. I have a small presence on Facebook, and I'm from a small town where word of mouth is my key form of advertisement. With all that being said, there is still room for improvements. I would like to market and advertise to more of my surrounding communities, and I'd also like to have a bigger social media presence to expand more and get my name out there. Let's get into some of my goals, shall we? Some of my short-term goals, I would like to grow to 50+ weekly clients. I would always like to get better and more equipment, not only to get jobs done faster, but to get them done more effectively and efficiently. I would possibly like to hire an employee to help me out with some of my bigger jobs. And I do plan on getting an LLC for my business. My business is fully insured, so my next step will be to get my LLC. And I do also plan to take over my scheduling and my accounts receivable from my business manager, who is my lovely mother. Some of my long-term goals, I would love to grow to 3 or 4 crews with 2 or 3 guys per crew. I'd like to work on another startup business, grow that to a level where it is profitable. And a dream of mine would be to mentor another young entrepreneur who started out similar age as me and has a strong passion for lawn care and landscaping. And I do plan to attend college where I will receive a business entrepreneurship and finance degree, which I believe will give me a huge leg up on most of my competitors. I want to thank you guys for this absolutely amazing opportunity. And judges, just remember, with CE Property Services, you make your lawn the envy of your neighborhood. Thank you.
Clayton, I went to school at UW Oshkosh, and I got a degree in biology. Not Butterburgers, by the way, but it's worked out okay. But one of the things that Oshkosh started doing, it's over 10 years ago, they created an entrepreneur program. And they have like a shark event, a Shark Tank event every year. And what do they do? But I think it's $50,000 to the winner. So I'm promoting you. Go to school at UW Oshkosh and come away with that money. But what do you plan on doing in the off season? Do you have snow removal as well, or?
So I actually do not have snow removal currently. That is definitely in the plans and the works for upcoming years. I haven't got into snow removal yet, honestly, just because it is a huge risk. In Broadhead, where I'm from, we've had maybe 2 snows this year, so I would not have made my money back if I did go out and buy, a bigger truck and a plow. But it is definitely in the works for the future. During the off season, I do usually, like I said, have part-time jobs. Currently, I am doing a paid internship at our local Bank of Broadhead.
Hey.
I'm currently a bank teller, and I'm trying to work my way up, maybe loan officer and things like that. So that's where I think going to college for finance will help me out, and not only with the banking industry, but also with my own financials and helping me with my business as well.
So is that where you see your life 10 years from now?
I see
In
me
the
doing
banking business?
I see me doing a lot of things. Yeah, I can see me in the banking business with, a little side gig. And then if this grows to, all of my dreams, that's something I do plan on taking over.
I get excited when I hear young individuals wanting to get into banking. So that's awesome. I've been in banking for 26 years, and it's been very, very meaningful. So if I could offer any advice at any point, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you.
First of all, I'm impressed on how you balance school, baseball, your other part-time jobs, this internship, and this business, and the growth that you've seen. Over 700% growth in revenue during your time in business is just incredible. So congratulations.
Thank you
to
so much.
I also think every business needs a business momager.
Oh yeah.
So, Mom, thanks for
Oh, yeah.
creating that role. I have 2 questions. One is around the financials, and you answered a question that I had written down. In 2023, I did see that dip.
Yep, absolutely.
And you explained how your margins was still strong because your expenses were lower.
Yep.
How do you plan for something like that in the future? Number one, and then the second question is, why is it so important for you to mentor others?
Absolutely. So I'll start with your first question. In 2023, that drought hit me like no other. When I make my money off of mowing people's yard and it's not raining, the grass isn't growing, so I'm not mowing. So that's when I really got to the drawing board, and I was like, okay, if I'm not mowing, I need to find another way to keep my revenue and my profit the same. And that's when I did research, and that's where I started offering pressure washing and surface cleaning. Because no matter rain, shine, things always need to be cleaned, whether it's houses, sidewalks, things like that. So there's a lot of research that went into that, but that is something that I do now offer. And that is also in the case of kind of a backup plan where, say next summer we have a drought, it doesn't rain once. Maybe that's something where I will take pressure washing full time, maybe keep the mowers in the storage unit and take out all the pressure washers and learn a little bit more about that.
Okay.
And then can you repeat your second question again?
So you talked about mentorship, and both in the video and in your presentation, you talked about you want to give back by mentoring other younger. Why is that important for you?
So when I started out, like I said, I was 10 years old, and I knew nothing. I thought, okay, you're going to start your push mower, and you're going to start mowing. 8 years down the line, it's a lot more than that. You want it to look professional for other people, and that's things I didn't know when I started. I would say I'm very self-taught through YouTube. My parents aren't professional landscapers, so I didn't really come from that. So I learned a lot through YouTube and, just looking up questions I had. And I didn't know how important, the stripes were until I started finally learning about it. And, I looked up videos well, these striping kits are $500-$600. I can't spare that money right now. So I've made a couple of my own striping kits and things like that. So I think if there was another young entrepreneur who, like I said, started out how I did, and he had a mentor, I think he would be set off way better than I was, just with someone there to answer his questions.
That's great. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Clayton, many of us, maybe most of us who have businesses, did similar things than what you're doing when we were kids. You know, we had paper routes, we mowed lawns and things like that. And for many of us, we learned as much doing those kind of things than we did from anything at school. I have a friend who's retired, was a CEO of one of the biggest companies in Wisconsin, and he'll say that being a manager at a grocery store was much more valuable to him than all the schooling he had together. So I think what you're doing is valuable for your business now and in the future, but also you're learning so much right now about taking care of customers. Yes. and all the things that you just talked about. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. So here's the thing. You and I are fellow service providers, and we interface with people as part of our business. Now, you have a plethora of experience. You've got a chief financial officer, you've got a manufacturing CEO, banker executive, global worldwide, business owner, and then you have me as an effective communication coach. So here's some things I want to just share with you really quick. As much as these leaders appreciate data, and I do as well, you have a unique quality as a service provider that a lot of people, quite frankly, whether they provide a product or a service, don't have. And that is, you are genuinely, sincerely caring about others. And I want you to consider continuing to lead when you're pitching or when you're soliciting with that heartstring story. People are driven by data and relatability, and they're also driven by doing the right thing and what pulls the heartstrings. And so the fact that you said this business organically derived from the feeling that you felt knowing that you helped an elderly person feel good as well. So I want you to continue to leverage that as a unique value proposition, because we know that people landscape. What we do need to be reminded of is that you do it because you want to help people feel good. So that's a capital right there in terms of how you continue to connect and acquire new clients. So keep up the great work. My question is, within this market of landscaping, and considering there are others, it's a bit saturated, what are some of the challenges that you faced, if it is in regards to that, and how did you overcome those challenges?
So I can think already this past winter, I have gotten calls, from other people, and they would like a quote for, their lawn mowed, blowing, trimming, things like that. A challenge that I face regularly is when people call and they say, hey, we're looking for someone new. Well, then you face a challenge of, okay, well, personally, I know I do better service than that person because I'm into it and I'm passionate about it. But all the customer really cares about is, okay, how much is it going to cost? So a challenge I face is, being the cheapest and being reliable to those people. And how I overcome that, honestly, something that I also love is that I have clients from when I first started still with me today, 8 years later. And my favorite thing about my business is I have not raised the price for those people. Some people I still charge $10, $20 a week. And that's something I definitely thrive on. I'm not going to go out and quote someone $300 to mow your lawn every single week just because I know they have the money, things like that. So I definitely thrive on that.
Awesome. Well, you're an effective communicator, but we need to talk about your prices because there's nothing wrong with, we'll talk about that.
Thank you.
Clayton, this is great. Looking at your financials, you have fantastic financials. You should be proud of that. This is really amazing. I'm impressed with how you manage that. I want to speak about something that very unique about entrepreneurship, and you're a life example of that, because the story, the impact you have on the people. You talked about the emotional intelligence, speaking with your neighbor. I was disabled. I have a kid of my own as well. You mentioned you want to mentor someone else. That speaks volume about the vulnerability you have and the leadership you have and the self-awareness and development. And this is at the core of entrepreneurship. And there is a big difference between the what you do and how you do it. And I think The big question that you need to think about is going forward, and I have that question for you is, what's your biggest learning to unleash your potential? What success looks like for you from here?
So like I said, I'm a thinker, and I'm always thinking of new and better things. So whether it's growing my business to a profitability standpoint where, okay, maybe I want to get out of this field, and something I've thought about recently is most people just sell the business right away. They'll sell all their equipment, they'll sell their clients. That's something for me where I think about mentoring another young entrepreneur. So maybe I take a summer with another, teenage person, whoever wants to get into it. I mentor them, I show them the ways that I do it because I have the highest standards for myself. I show them the way how to do it, and then maybe the clients are then theirs. So that's one way I see of being successful and things like that. Otherwise, it could be, I'm really loving it. Let's continue to grow this. Let's grow this to 6 figures a year. Let's grow this to not just landscaping. Let's do snow plowing in the winter. Let's do things like that. So that's some things I can see myself being successful in the future.
Clayton, you mentioned price. The furniture that we manufacture is not the least expensive. It's probably actually it's the most expensive in our type of furniture that we make. Culvers, hamburgers are not the least expensive, but they're the best, right?
Right.
So I would concentrate on not becoming a commodity and trying to compete at the lowest price. You may only want to do 50%, 80% of the clients, and 20% of the clients maybe not,
right.
and not become a commodity and go after quality and so that price is not as important of a factor for the people who are choosing you. That would be my advice.
Thank you.
Just one more quick thing. Just want to add this too, because again, you and I, we're very leadership and servant focused. Sit down and allocate a fixed amount of, let's say, discounted or complimentary. So that way you can feel good, but just establish a set amount because you're a for-profit business. This is not charity, but you can definitely exercise your philanthropy mindset by just, again, saying, throughout this fiscal year, I will dedicate or commit to 20% or 15% or this amount of pro bono or heavily discounted services. But get your bag.
Thank you
Secure
so
the bag,
much.
yes.
Thank you so much.